Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Encumbered Town Council meeting for Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger.
Present.
Joe Day.
Present.
Susie Monroe. Katie Neer.
Present.
Tyler Sharden.
Will you please join me for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time, I understand we don't have minutes for.
That's correct. You'll have it.
All right, thank you very much. Public concern, utility ordinance violation appeals. Anyone here? Yes, sir. Mr. McManaway.
I got a letter thought off that said I already had a forgiving to the make me more. And first of all, I mean, that was under forgiveness because of the sidewalks, everything that from the house. They had crushed two of them going to the town. I didn't have, couldn't be clear that to be brought. And I felt like that was not my fault, but it was not a responsibility. Asked for forgiveness, but that we instead of doing one time doing appeals for forgiveness. So that letter saying, oh, yeah, first I couldn't actually have second appeal since I had to be time.
Would it like to start? Would it be possible to move a little closer to the microphone? I appreciate it.
Yeah, but my case now, which I got a call on November 14th, I believe, and they called me and said I was using more water, whatever, suggested that it was probably a toilet or something like that. So I replaced both toilets in the house in $400 with toilet lines, everything fixed. And then I town, I think, came out and looked at the meter and saw that the phone was busted. So I had to shut the water off after using the water. It was just to get water for Thanksgiving. And but then after Thanksgiving day, I fixed the line, the meter to. But anyway, I don't have the papers because they kept it in the office. I know Kevin Dante had did the application for a forgiveness, and then I got a different one that was for a difference of $700 something, person $300 something, and I $10 for forgiveness of the rest of it. And I would just appreciate the town council realizing the problem there because they didn't shut the water off until in December. I mean, as far as I mean, that term water, they were cut off in November. They had a reading. I didn't have any reading from November 14th until December 2nd. And I wasn't aware of how much it all used until after I got all that. We're talking really 600,000 hours, 600,000 or 60,000 gallons of water. And then the next bid of the top order gave me was 105,000 gallons of water. I don't understand how that came up in the 14 days, the 13 days or it took, whatever, so they shut it up. But did move the meter on the inside out with that power. Appreciate it. I can get that forgiveness. I'm sure we got picked.
The meter itself is outside.
Yes.
The ground.
In the ground.
Think it probably be me. Think I was speaking to this guy, but he was speaking why he text people giving us.
It wasn't any fault other than the fact that it was not even checked outside. And it told me, it said they thought it might be a toilet, but we were opposed. But I went through and changed all the toilets and everything.
No, I meant
The first time, like, yeah, I think, for the first one. I don't know why there's two different numbers for that. Whatever it is on the paper now. Two different applications.
Jerry, at the November bill, 772, 79 cents. 1,546, 77 cents. In November still or December? Is the reason December bill is so big?
It was lagging behind, it was the horn off,
That one.
which was soldered once, according to Bob Porter in this conversation, it was soldered once
Right.
Like
3 or 4
5
years ago.
by them. And then apparently again, it's been an ongoing problem. And according to Mr. Porter, he advised the meter moved from to the inside.
But that was one about quarter, but I was never told it.
Okay, I'm just stating what Mr. Porter said about the case. I'm not going to argue, but that's what he stated, that there was information that was said. Ms. Julie Cal did inform me that it could be.
Correct.
Okay, but wasn't sure. They ran the audit. They found out, and they brought, Damon was down there quickly in response to check out and identify the problem.
No, okay.
Well,
It was like.
I think,
it was like
I'm sorry,
13
quickly is a
days.
subjective word.
Yeah.
I understand that. It was within 3 days, 2 days to 3 days. Okay. Not sure, but there was an identification of the problem and the water was shut off.
Okay.
The first time it wasn't, you can't apply obviously for water. It's against state statute. All you can forgive is the sewage or the water treatment through the sewage, right? The wastewater. So when the damage was done the first time,
It was.
when I believe it was your wife that came in to get the forgiveness document. Julie Cal explained the documents, and according to Julie Cal, confirmed that you wanted to do the forgiveness for the amount. It was $50-some for the forgiveness. 40, yeah, and she confirmed that she wanted to do the forgiveness.
Oh, it's
That was back, yeah. And so there was a confirmation of that forgiveness, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's where that kind of where it's standing at the moment, that there was a previous forgiveness for the wastewater portion of the kitchen. And we have a current situation, according to policy as it stands right now, we're only allowed to give one forgiveness as a lifetime request.
Let me correct you. At that time, in June 21st, it wasn't a water usage more than normal. Because it was the sewer line itself. So water was still reported the whole time as far as the actual water. And the sewer was included, but the sewer wasn't being used. So it wasn't the water problem as much as just strictly the sewer bill. Because we couldn't use the sewer because it was busted at the tap that was done by contracting down.
So you say the sewer was busted at the tap where it connects into the main system?
Correct. It
So
was under the road.
that water would have never made it into our treatment system.
No.
But I have a different understanding and of what happened. But the bottom line, I guess, is that there was paperwork signed for forgiveness.
That's what they told us we had to do.
Now, according to Julie Cal, it wasn't you had to do. He actually, in speaking with her, said that she confirmed that what you wanted to do. And that's, I'm just saying what I was told.
Right.
Okay.
Under the understanding, we were just wanting to not be charged for the sewer because we weren't it wasn't going into the sewer. As far as the actual forgiveness, I mean, we're looking for forgiveness because of water, but water that we were charged for, it wasn't going into the sewer. But the meter was still reading the same.
$650.
$46.
Yeah, right in there the first time.
Think of like right now. But that's my writing and that's my signature on it.
In the meantime, then those toilets got those, we figure out what is causing this?
Yes,
That was after.
it was, we need to move the meter box inside because it was essentially.
Which I did that,
Which it did, but
but I was
it was
not,
an ongoing problem,
but
right?
if you want to call it ongoing,
Touching
because
up.
Well, the bill read caught 2 cycles. What happened? That's kind of different. And that's not uncommon, right? There's a limit to that.
the time that leak was full, there was no forgiveness done, with the water leak full and the home was done.
Right, that's
Yeah,
correct.
They never was.
No.
Forgiveness.
I think Bob just soldered the horn for you. If I remember right.
Well, that was like 12 years ago, about this, whatever.
I think there should be a time limit.
Maybe in fall policy.
Yeah.
And I think the wording in it, once every so many years might be a better way, but
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
reading current policy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was, my class, it's like, what, that leaked in 53,
Well,
Barry's been in the house for a while, hasn't he, Barry?
and I thought of that too, but I mean, I didn't have any leaks over this time. But like I said, as far as the first forgiveness, it wasn't due to the meter leaking either way, whatever, anything like that. It was just over the fact that the sewer wasn't being used because they crushed the sewer. And that cost me money, which I wound up putting my concrete drive in because I had everything there. I dug the whole, I used to cut a section out of the street because our tap in the sewer is further away out in the street. So I had cut the street over. That's it.
What year was the first forgiveness?
21.
I would.
That's really about it. That's- I almost feel like, what's the cost? Because it's probably a fraction of what doesn't. I don't know. What it costs. However, hundreds of lemons got put into our system. That's still us to get treated, and we got that side of it, but that's an unused amount. We expect. That it's usually worth. That, we haven't. What we do there. That's there. And I really don't remember. Facebook things. I'm sure it came before the council. But
Yeah, you think so.
I just don't remember.
But
The
I mean,
situation.
I just feel at the time, I mean, the appeal for the forgiveness on that particular case should have been forgiveness for the water because it wasn't, water was the same.
I'm sure that this really was accurate. That's just where most people that on this happen, it's picking up.
Yeah, if I known what it was and that, I probably wouldn't even done the appeal on that.
Yeah.
I was just mad because the town had the worst, we had as a contractor was. Thankfully, they did a pretty crappy job, right? Not that matters. But when they crushed my sewer line, and I don't know how long that it had been crushed, but they found it had been crushed all the time. And I couldn't find it because I mean I couldn't get the snake back far enough under the road. It goes far enough, it just wasn't through it. Then when we dug it up, and it's completely crushed. Still got the pipe if you want. I'll bring it in shortly.
That's all there, it's just all been verified.
I'm not sure about that. I guess just for one clarification. So there's, I think you're asking, what exactly are you asking?
Right now,
Yes.
the two things, not to consider that appeal and for the appeal of the amount that I can.
Okay, so you're looking at a sewer. So just to clarify, the water's gotten mixed in. So I just want to clarify.
Front of your school. Is.
It is, whatever Julie has figured out. On, per the policy, figures out the average, backs it out, so then you figure out what. And that's what she figured out. She figured out 1 month and then realized, we got the readings again, it was still leaking. She refigured it out without, and we held on to it rather than coming, after 1 month because it was going to be additional meeting. Yeah, at that point, it was once on that lower amount. So we waited, or Julie waited. It was all.
Divided instead of forcing them to choose which
Yeah.
one they want forgiven.
Yes.
And then that amount only obviously is for waste. That's all we can. So that's the calculation based on our policy. Or what Julie.
Mr. Day, what's your opinion?
Well, I didn't see the amount. What is the amount?
$1,097.70.
And that is just for the waste. And that is quite a large number. Right. But,
Yeah.
Well, Gary said, verifying that small amount of food from hours. Was, we shall being crushed, we should even have been categorized. Given section. this would be another time. Request for forgiveness, but that indeed verified what happened.
I can't go back and it would be argumentative to suggest what has happened. I don't have any evidence of either way. What I do have is all I can state is that Barry signed the forgiveness policy back then under whatever reason for that amount, and that's all I know. So we did have a recorded forgiveness on file. That's it. I don't know what sort of, and I don't have any reason not to believe what Barry's saying, but I
would state the spirit of the law is forgiveness. Once here and 26 now. Doesn't seem like a forgiveness now. Scenario. Application. This seems valid from the investment. The way it was the house was not valid. Very well.
Is that a formal motion? Okay. So second? Second by Mr. Cardy.
Yes, I make the motion for one time. To seek forgiveness and application, amount is $10,097. Has everything been fixed? Like, everything is ready to go.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. Okay. What else in the room for utility ordinance violation of appeals? Okay. Next on the agenda is the second, third read of ordinance 2025-015, amending the zoning ordinance. An ordinance to amend the Culver zoning ordinance. Have a motion for second and third reading. Motion to approve on second.
And yes, and third.
Motion to approve on second and third. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those same sign. Next is the second.
I'm sorry, just to interject just a second, Mr. President. Per your request, the language was changed. Just simply reflecting you want to remain at 25 on your front and backyard setbacks. I provided both documents, but it's fine. We'll get, and I'll have them make the changes of it. I just wanted to note that was done.
Okay. Thank you. Next is the second, third reading of ordinance 2025-017, the 2026 salary ordinance.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm because I didn't have a chance to check. I was out of town. We include the clerk's notes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll make a motion to pass on second read and suspend the rules and pass on third read.
Ms. Monroe moves to pass on second, suspend the rule for third. This is second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. New business. Ordinance 2025-018, 2024 encumbered funds.
It's that time of year when we have to do all kinds of fun housekeeping items. This basically just allows us to move funds from 2025 budget and add it to the 2026 budget for items that may have been purchased or spent or committed in 2025, but a bill or isn't received until 2026. I also added, because the whole 2 weeks of the pay period is in 2025, but everybody's getting paid on January 2nd. I encumbered those funds as well. So it's not hitting the 2026 budget. So that's basically what you're seeing. in this ordinance.
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-018.
Mr. Monroe moves to pass ordinance 2025-18.
I second the corrections. It's 2024 encumbered
No, you're right.
25.
I got it.
25 is covered.
I got it. This one. So
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
go ahead and suspend the rules.
Pardon?
Will you go ahead and suspend the rules and pass on all three?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to suspend the rules and second, third pass.
Ms. Monroe moves to suspend the rules in second, third read. Ordinance 2025-18.
I'll second it.
A second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Next is resolution 2025-005, transferring funds within departments and funds.
And this is another one of those housekeeping items. It's just transferring monies within specific funds so that the individual categories are all in the positive, basically. And this year, really, there wasn't a ton I've seen anymore. But it's kind of nice.
Make the motion to pass resolution 2025-005.
Ms. Monroe moves to pass resolution 2025-005.
Second.
Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. For commission reports.
Evening. We asked the patience of the council as I learned the job a little bit. I don't have a full report for you this evening in terms of permit fees, especially on the building side because they're being taken care of by Marshall County Building. We did have a plan commission meeting last month at which we did have cases, but we're able to discuss sort of an agenda moving forward with 2026 and where we're at, as well as some of our ordinances. There is an appetite to revisit ADU in a meaningful way, having accessory dwelling units, don't use abbreviations without qualifying. I think we'll probably begin the year with that. We distributed some of the edited document that was provided by Don Fox, the minutes, and we're going to take a look at that and move forward. We do have two cases coming up for January, both replatting. One is for South Main Street at 120, where is the old hardware store, as we refer to it, I guess. And the other is for on the South Shore on the peninsula. So those cases are prepped, ready to go. Got the agenda today. Pick up your stuff in the box there as you go out. Board of Zoning Appeal did have one case on Academy Road where they granted a 5-foot setback on the variance, and case went well, I thought. And as we learned how to do this stuff for me, I got a few tips that kind of helped me with the cases as well. So other than that, that's where we're at, and keep plugging forward, and hopefully some angel falls out of the sky and decides they want to do a job. But for the time being, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot as I go. So thank you.
Redevelopment Commission.
Good evening, Marty Osterbaum for the Redevelopment Commission. The commission did meet in December. The final expenses for 2025 are in line with the plan that I presented to you last time we talked. We did take up the question of a possible incentive related to the proposed hotel development in town. That generated some discussion that wound up with a desire for the commission to hear from the developer directly, particularly with respect to the economics of the development, the particulars on the hotel itself, and as well as what it means economically to the town. So right now we're looking at a possible date of January 13th for a work session for the commission, once it is appointed for the new year. And it'd be my recommendation to the new commission members to take that meeting and possibly also invite the people that did the feasibility study who have some economic projections. We probably ought to include them too in that. So far, it looks like the 13th is a date that works for most people. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Haven't confirmed the meeting, but we're getting close. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just to understand you, Marty, Jessica, for the
Yeah,
feasibility.
we probably should invite Jessica. Would you want me to do that, or
If you wouldn't mind, CC me on it. I'll be out.
to do that?
Thank you, sir.
Is there a time that works best? Karen, any suggestions?
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the 13th.
No, I don't think it really matters as far as use of this room.
I was gonna say I have to go to Indy that evening, but so earlier for me is better, like 4 or
Okay,
5 or something. During business hours would be fine.
okay. I'll take. Oh, I won't take over your time here. Thank you.
Could I say something on this right here? 'Cause, I know we discussed it at the last planning commission meeting, or just, well, and I mean, I appreciate, because I know we talked about communication between planning commission and this right here, which I think there's other things too, and I know we discussed it. And I mean, I just appreciate a little more communication. I don't know if it's going to affect any zoning changes or anything like that as far as with the hotel. I mean, it's got one with C2 right now. I don't know what this would be considered. I don't know what that property is on.
Yeah, it's very, when we get to that point, that definitely that communication will start. We're just not there yet.
Right.
We've got to iron it out, but I'll note that we'll get you when we start getting the need to get the plan involved, we'll get you. But thank you.
I want to say thank you for considering. that.
Well, we'll certainly, advertise the meetings. Right? All the welcome.
Anyone to speak on the tree commission?
Not this evening, no, nothing, no updates really. We're moving forward. We've got the tree spots and everything's locked and loaded for April 22nd, so.
Yeah. Ground up.
This time of the year.
Yeah. Town manager report.
Sure thing. I'm going to yield to the Right Honorable Police Chief Chad Becker for a minute and have him present to you guys for a second. He's got an ask for you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is not my typical meeting, so I'm not on the agenda, so I appreciate this time. With it being the last one of the year, I come to you with a purchase request so that I can get the funds from this year into next year. So at the last meeting, you had approved for the purchase of a squad car. One of the normal procedures with that is getting that vehicle upfitted, so it's in service. So luckily, the big ticket items, things like the radar unit, the in-car camera systems, the computers, those all transfer. So those are all in working condition from the old car, and I will use those. But I need, the car I'm replacing is 10 years old. So we replaced lighting on that, and then the center consoles, some of the interior lights, those are all vehicle specific. And again, we're going from a 10-year difference in cars. So some of that stuff just does not transfer. So normal to upgrade some of the lighting and such. So I have reached out to 2 of our vendors that we've used in the past and got 2 different quotes. Used the template that I typically have on the cars. And so we're not adding any less lighting. So I used the template that I did from 2022, so roughly 4 years ago. And one of the quotes that I got included some stuff thinking that maybe we wouldn't be able to use some old stuff. I went through, took some of that stuff off so that we could compare apples to apples, and I have 2 different quotes. So what I'm requesting for you to consider tonight is the approval from one of those vendors that we've used and we've been happy with. And that total amount would be $8,010.12. 8010.12, and that would be for R&B Sales Incorporated out of Pearson. And I did go back and just to kind of to give you some history. 4 years ago, we used the same vendor, about the same lighting package, and that was about $5,700. 6 years ago was about 5,000. 8 years ago was about 4,000. So we see about a $500 to $750 increase every year. And here we are 4 years since we've used it. So the price seems to be right in the range of the increase of what it typically goes up every year. So that was the lowest bid of the quotes that I got, and that's the amount that I'm requesting for that up there to see, get your consideration.
Motion to approve the upgrade, mostly lighting. Like,
It's a complete install of all the equipment and get it road ready.
$8,010.
A second.
Mr. Neer moves to approve the request by Chief Becker. Amount of $8,010 and how many cents? 12 cents. It's been seconded by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, guys. Karen, was that included? Yeah. Yeah, without this being my normal meeting, that's all I have for you. Unless you have anything for.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We'll take it back. Provided a few sheets for the council, trying to organize some thoughts, and then talked about it several times, but I thought I'd put a dashboard really quick in front of you just as a summary. I emphasize the word highlights. There's no way to capture it, as you guys all know, everything that's went on in town. But I went back to the 5 categories of the comprehensive plan. I've combined quality of people in place because I found them kind of linked together strongly, right? I think that that's kind of a dotted line rather than a solid line. So this is either in completion or near completion a project. So some of the highlights for quality of people in place were the completion of phase 3 trail on Academy 10. The trails received really great feedback and people are enjoying it. It was a labor of love that stretched a long time, and I know, Jenny, you were involved in it. So completion of the Cass Slade Trail over by the school, and we're looking to extend that even further, hopefully in the spring, going back to the paddocks area. Finalize the locations for the IU tree planting with 100 trees coming in, especially near the school and Cavalier Park. That's going to be a great addition, and especially in our tree canopy. And it's addressing a need that IU mapped out. There's a shortage on that end of town. So I think it's going to evenly distribute. Developing an ADA committee is something that I'm really passionate about. It's happened the last 2 months, and I really appreciate Royce Workman, some of the individuals that are coming forward to provide better expanded use and our access to the use of the beach and the lodge. There are some simple projects that we've identified that we can get right on in 2026. And then there are some projects that are going to need some thought and incubation, I think, and their eagerness to get them going has to be stemmed a little bit, but I think there's a wonderful project, but we do want to get something on the ground, some traction in there with some simple wins, and I'll be bringing those forward in January. Continue to manage the addition of the Dunes housing, and I would ask that you see the attachment down below from Burke. It's an email I copied, but I do think I think that the project is starting to take hold in ways that I appreciate. 18 units completed of the 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 18 units of the 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 12 of the patio flats that are there, with another 12 coming online. The senior building of 20 units is available, complete with certificate of occupancy. The single family homes, units 1 through 12 have their occupancy, 64 through 70 are 90% complete, and 19 to 29, 60%, and units 30 and 31, 14 and 16 have foundations poured. The clubhouse is 70% complete. The garage bays are there. You can read for yourself. I want to insult you. The 7 condominiums have been sold and 6 apartment units leased, and they're not even up out of the ground yet. The infrastructure project is done. I'll get to it with infrastructure, but it's looking positive. And 2, personal aside, obviously these are numbers. My wife works with a nurse at St. Joe Pediatricians. Her husband's a retired fireman from St. Joe, up in St. Joe County, excuse me. They're moving down here to retire, and she's still working in Plymouth, and they just purchased a house, and it's on the build. So that's a great story. We also had a young lady come in. She works for Miller's, and she had currently been living in Plymouth renting. She has decided she wants to live in Culver. And for the affordability, was her word, not mine. The price point was right and better quality for her. And she gets a swimming pool at the clubhouse, so that's not bad.
So it was really encouraging. More to come, but yet there's still some work to be done out there. So obviously moving forward cautiously. We completed the video with the viewpoint and got our name out there. We had at least about a month ago, we had at least 4 national airings on national television, and we've had 400 also spot placements within 100 top markets regionally in the country. So we're hitting the regional markets hard. We had the million email blast, and the 7-minute segment is airing, but we just can't get statistics on public broadcasting. They don't keep them. Working with Chris Hart and Cobblestone on the hotel, and hopefully we'll get to a stage, Barry, in February. We might be having some planned conversations and getting more involved and getting some hook on there. Completion of the Ready and Dunes infrastructure project. That's huge. It brought that infrastructure out to the annexed area. And I know, Karen, you're probably pretty excited about that one. There's still a little bit of cleanup there, but it's in the ground. Lakeshore Drive project, the widening project that made everybody happy with signage. Glad it's done in the fall. Additional well C, and we do have the permit to start construction out of the water plant and for our surface pumps to increase the flow into that beautiful filter we have. We did, Bob informed me today, we distributed the RFQ to 5 companies so far. It's out there. I brought copies in with the dates and everything revised. Hopefully it's clean RFQ. I think it's a wonderful idea. Appreciated listening to Jenny, a lot of people, and the suggestions of kind of getting qualifications without the numbers yet, bringing people into interview and go from there. So I think it should be an interesting and new way of proceeding forward, but with a project this large, I think it's valuable. Business development support. I think this is a real area for 2026, and I'm excited with it. Bringing in retail and downtown strategies. The kickoff call will be January 12th. And I think getting the data and getting some direction on which way to move is exciting. Knowing where that's going to take us, I don't know yet. That's why we hired them. But I think we got to be open. And I think having better communication, I listed down there with Main Street merchants, as well as Develop Culver, has been a plus. Building those organizations back up and getting some trust and buy-in again within the program, I think retail and downtown strategies will go a long way to developing that. RDC worked with the Main Street owners to get the banners, and that is slated, Jerry tells me, for April installation. That was a request of theirs. They wanted them done, but things gave away. We've got new gateway signs too out of there. Worked with MACOG to establish the Poppers Defenders property inventory. So we're starting to get some data to be able to start, I've said start too many times there, but directing some targeted focus to development. I think that's going to be interesting in 2026. Kurt Neubauer and the Max Tucky Performing Arts Theater Foundation, say that quickly, are moving towards the tear down of the theater, hopefully January. Mr. Clevenger, sir, president, I'm sure you're happy to hear that. And they're going to be moving into understanding how they're going to rebuild it. They've got some great consultants to work on that project. They're probably going to come in before council to ask for a request for expansion to the west. So be looking forward to that. Crystal Moss continues to expand the programming at the Beach Lodge for arts and culture, and that's a wonderful thing. She's bringing in seniors, and she has some really nice vision for some additional programs, building on what Amber already provided for a good solid base work, but also developing and growing those ideas further. So I look forward to Crystal in the summer coming up with some new ideas. Todd Zeiger of the Indiana Landmarks discussed the preservation of Main Street, the theater and the park, and I think there's opportunity, a tempered opportunity, but I think the park projects could be something larger, but again, it's going to take some time to understand them, delineate and articulate what that looks like, and then the funding sources for it. But it's exciting. The grandfather stone was number 2. You can see the attachment by there. Somebody asked me what it meant. Well, I got that information for you, y'all. Marshall County grandfather stones fact sheet. You'll see it. It's somewhere in that pile of papers. It's not the email. Everything you ever wanted to know about a grandfather stone, especially ours, it's all there. With council's permission, I think 2026 also offer opportunities to build off of our trail system using some of the QR codes for historical facts, along the trail. I think putting some new signage up, especially at the grandfather stone, because right now it just looks like a beautiful rock that's got some carvings on it, but there's meaning. I think explaining that meaning is respectful to the indigenous people that gave inspiration. So I'd like to be able to bring that to life. And this is some of the information before you that I'll glean to create a sign for that moving forward. That's 2025 in a nutshell. There's so much more. There's projects moving forward, but the infrastructure that I want is that I think 2026, our big, our groundstone or keystone project is going to be the wastewater. And getting that up and going is going to be fun. It's going to be a community event. They're choosing a contract. So look forward to your input. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Heim, your report.
I have two claims over $2,500 for your approval. The first one is Culver Building Trades for 2005-13-63, and that is for the construction of the well house. And the other one is EnviroServe 2005-19-10, and that was for a hazmat cleanup.
I have a motion to approve claims over $2,500.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Monroe. Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those same sign.
Okay, and now bear with me as I go down my list of items. First of all, board and commission applications are due Monday, January 5th. There are seats open on the Plan Commission, the Tree Commission, and the Redevelopment Commission. I just ask that you get applications in to me by January 5th at 4 o'clock. State Board of Accounts is beginning an audit of 2021 to 2024, and we have an entrance conference next week. Sally, are you still okay for attending?
Yes.
Okay. She was the first one to respond to my email, so she is the designated stand-in or designated representative. That's better.
I think it'll be an exciting.
No, it will be riveting.
Everyone step back and Sally's just.
And it should only be 30 minutes. So it is a fully remote audit. The auditors are all from the Indianapolis area, but they will be in person for that entrance conference. So thank you, Sally. So I just want to show on record that you all have submitted 5 copies of the annual certification of elected official to the executive of the town of Culver on compliance with municipal nepotism policy involving direct line supervision and certification of elected official to the executive of the town of Culver on compliance with municipal contracting policy. So those have been submitted by all the elected officials and submitted to the president of council, which I'm sure you're going to get back and have me file. And so there's that. I need to ask your approval of the surety bonds for the clerk treasurer, deputy clerk, assistant deputy, and the park superintendent. If I could just have a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve the surety bonds.
Ms. Monroe moves to approve the bonds.
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
On my report, I provided to you a list of the reports that are due in January and February. I will keep you all updated as I get those finished, just as a internal control opportunity. So W-2 will start in and I get to have the new adventure of the one big beautiful bill and figure out how to report overtime on that as well.
Yeah.
Always a new adventure. Not gonna, it's fine, but I did email in the email that I sent out to you with my report. I also attached a conflict of interest statement. If any of you have pecuniary conflicts of interest, please go ahead and submit those to me before the next meeting. We'll take care of that in January. And then the last item I have, 2 meetings ago, you all did a reading for Ordinance 2025-014. It was a schedule of charges for the Culver Union Township Fire Department. The last meeting, we did have a public hearing. And following that public hearing, you all were going to do a second and third reading. Terry spoke up and he said, hold on the third reading. He felt that the public needed to have more information. Kevin and I talked with Terry about that. And the information that needs to get out is not that. Basically, we've had this ordinance in place for some time that the fire department had the ability to charge. The only, and so that's, it's out there. Now, the fire department hasn't necessarily been doing the charging. But they're going to take that step into initiating that more. So if there is a fire, if someone the fire department has to respond, most likely they're going to receive a bill. And I think he just wants that information out. On top of it, the schedule of charges won't be set by the council. It's now going to follow the state fire marshal. And that was really the only change to that ordinance. And so Kevin and I talked with Terry and made the suggestion that the fact that they're going to charge isn't necessarily a responsibility of you all. You've already given them that permission, but they do need to get that information out to the public. And so I think the fire department's going to work on that. At the same time, my office is going to figure out a better way to make sure that that stuff is getting billed out, because it'll come to us. We'll be sending out the bills and tracking payment on that. But we don't go on protocol. So until they submit it to us, we're not going to send that bill. So I'm going to go ahead. Yes.
How is that bill? Is it billed by water usage, by manpower?
There's a whole structure. I think if you go to that ordinance that you've been considering, I think there's a reference to an Indiana code.
Yep.
That lays out, it's not the water, it's the man hours, the equipment use, that type of thing that they can bill on.
It's a set fee schedule.
It is.
Yeah.
So that being said, comments have been made at the last meeting. The desire to get information out to the public was there. I think this is letting you all know, and via, the recording of the meeting, the minutes, it will get to the public. And I think the main onus is on the fire department also to communicate the change that they're making.
Yes.
Can you repeat that out loud? So
I was saying it's insured, that the homeowner's insurance usually covers that cost. Okay. That's
it's
fine.
sent to the insurance. It's sent to the information that we have. Sometimes insurance will come back and say, well, you pay taxes, so we're not paying it. So that's a whole thing. But I will put this ordinance on the next agenda, so that you can go ahead and finish out that process. And that's all I've got.
Thank you very much. Council issues. Here, starting with you.
Thank you to all our employees and each of you who is serving with you. 2025, looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, I did that. And I also was thinking when Kevin was talking earlier, we haven't had the good fortune of replacing Steve Gorski, and that's going to put a significant amount of work on you as well as Karen. I know when I had to do that job, I was not good at it. I had to lean on Barry quite a bit, as well as John Chris from the BZA, Dan Adams at the time. So we may have to rethink how we're paying that position. I don't know. We may have to
I think if
incentivize.
I may interject, given the strength of the BZA and the leadership that's on both boards, on plan and BZA, as well as the inner working of the office with Karen, Julie, and Christine, the load hasn't been bad. I've also had the good portion of consulting people previous in the job. Russ, people like that have been really forthcoming. It's some paperwork, it's a learning process, but it's valuable to me as a town manager to understand it. So I appreciate that, but there's no need for that conversation right now, especially as I learned the job, because that kind of puts an additional pressure on me, Jenny, to actually look like I know what I'm doing.
You're absolutely right. To know that information, you become better as a communicator,
100%.
better at your own job. I totally agree with you. I learned a lot, particularly through Russ and Barry. There's logistics involved though. There were a lot of logistics, what I recall.
Yeah.
And Karen helped me wade through that. So I know we have a budget for that position, and it might be that we just apply those dollars into Karen's clerk's budget at some point, or spread it among the group that has to do that job. It's just something to keep in mind, because it creates a bit of a
the bubble. But yeah, I agree with Dana. What a good year we've had. A lot of things on that chart wouldn't happen without such a great team working on it. We get a lot done in a year in this little town, and I always find that pretty amazing. But we have really good people working on it, so appreciate that and look forward to 26 with everybody.
First, say, I'm looking forward to 2026. Hopefully, it'll be a great year instead of just a good one.
Mr. Day?
Looking forward to hopefully a good 26.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow council members. It's been a pleasure to have had the honor to serve as your president this year. I'm looking forward to next year. I'd like to thank all the department heads, all the employees, Karen in particular, elected office, Kevin, for all you've done. I think it's been an outstanding 25, and I'm looking forward to an even better 26. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Mr. Dare moved to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Day. Thank you, Mr. Day. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I think we've got a lot of paperwork to sign.